We have some major updates from the Knicks media day. Even though the front office and the coaches couldn't speak about the Karl-Anthony Towns trade, some Knicks players did speak about it. We're going to break down exactly what they said and so much more today. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. And make sure you have notifications turned on so you don't miss a second of the new content. And now, let's get started. Knicks players speak out about the mega trade where the Knicks got Karl-Anthony Towns. Now, I didn't expect a lot of Knicks players to speak about this trade, even though they can speak about it, because unlike the front office, there's no restrictions from players speaking about what-if trades. Even though some players decided not to speak about it, OG Anunoby was one of them, and Jalen Brunson kind of didn't speak on it a lot, but he did give us some comments on what it meant for the team, getting somebody at KAT's size. Let's break down exactly the coverage that we have from Media Day and the comments from Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, and Mikal Bridges. Shout out to James Edwards from The Athletic for giving us the following updates. As you can see, one of the questions they asked Brunson was about the trade, and his comment was the following: I saw the reports. I am not going to comment on the matter. Honestly, as the captain of the Knicks, I was not expecting anything less. He was not really going to comment on it, but I'm thankful that he spoke about DiVincenzo, Randle, and what it felt like to play with a player at KAT's size. According to Brunson, he said the following on playing with a floor spacing big: it's a different dynamic for sure. It gives us another weapon. The reads are definitely different. You still have to see how defenses reach to different situations. Dynamic is an understatement. We're talking about playing 5 out. We're talking about potentially Jalen Brunson or Josh Hart going to the rim uncontested with nobody in the paint. And if somebody does go into the paint and they're trying to close out, likely chances are either Josh Hart or Jalen Brunson is going to take contact, finish at the rim, and then go to the line for the and one. Because we saw it last season, even when the paint was way more occupied with a lot of other players. The fact that the Knicks can stretch out the defense this far out now, given the fact that we have a player like Towns, is absolutely a benefit to a player like Brunson, who loves to penetrate, create, and break down players inside. Now he can do it a lot easier because he's not going to have a lot of players inside guarding him. Maybe one, if two, because that other player is going to have to come out from the corner and reach out to Brunson. And if that happens, it just plays into Brunson's MO. Because if you do that against Jalen Brunson, he's going to find the contact, finish, and make sure he gets the and one. That is not a game you're going to want to play with Brunson. And now with KAT, it's a weapon that the Knicks are going to abuse each and every game. Brunson did speak about on Julius Randle and Donte DiVincenzo leaving the Knicks. He said the following: thankful that Julius welcomed me with open arms here. The memories we made together was really fun. Regarding Donte, this one hit a little bit more home for him. He said the following: Donte was a groomsman in my wedding. That should tell you everything you need to know. Love him to death. It seems we're not the only people in New York, at least some of us, who are still processing this trade, what it means for the Knicks and what it means for the future. Now, clearly, Jalen Brunson, he's moving on. He's taking that next step forward. But losing somebody like Donte DiVincenzo definitely hurts him. He had a special close bond with Donte. Clearly, they've been friends for a while. Even New York hated to see Donte DiVincenzo go in that deal. But clearly, the only way you were going to get KAT is if you included Devo in the deal. So that sacrifice had to be made, and now here we are with the current roster. Let's see what Josh Hart had to say about Karl-Anthony Towns being traded to the Knicks. According to Hart, we are extremely confident in what we have, officially and unofficially. We're ready to get started. Of the trade, Josh Hart talks about the bittersweet nature of trades in the NBA. You love it and you hate it. Hart stated that KAT was an amazing player. A guy who will space the floor, knock down shots. It allows the spacing to be, court is going to be wide open. The rim is going to be there. Like Brunson, Hart is going to benefit from this trade for Karl-Anthony Towns because the way Josh Hart plays, Towns is perfect for him. You're talking about Josh Hart going coast to coast. Normally when that happens, they try to build a wall for Josh Hart to stop him from going coast to coast and make him pass it out. Now with Towns, you can't do that because if you make Hart pass it out, the chances of him passing to KAT is maybe 85 to 90%. If not KAT, you got Jalen. You got other players on this team that can hurt you from three. So you can't really leave the paint as guarded as you used to do against the Knicks. Now you have to throw defenders at all sides of the court, making it easier for players like Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson, and anybody else who can thrive in the mid-range and thrive in the paint. That's exactly what KAT gives you. And if KAT's inside, then that means your corners are all going to be open as well too. Because don't get it twisted. Even though KAT can shoot great from the outside, when he's inside, he's also a threat that commands a double team. And that's going to help everybody on the court if that happens. Josh Hart acknowledged that this year, the Knicks are going to be a very switch-heavy team. He stated, "It takes some getting used to. We all were, at some point in our careers, have been the guy to take on the biggest matchup. Being a competitor, sometime you want to get over every screen and guard the best of the best." Josh Hart offers more comments here about the Knicks trading for Karl-Anthony Towns and what it means for players like Julius Randle. According to Hart, "I think for Randle, it was probably difficult and frustrating. He came here when they were losing, struggling, and helped change the trajectory. I think the fan base is grateful to him for that. With Ju, year and a half, and then in LA, obviously with Donte, college. Hate to see guys like that go, especially with the caliber of player and people that they are. The NBA is a tough business. KAT's an amazing player. Spacing, knocking down shots, blocking, creating. So, you love it and you hate it." Josh Hart just put it perfectly for me. That's exactly how I feel. The NBA is a tough business. You love a lot of parts of this trade because you know what it means for the Knicks and what they can do. But sometimes when you think about it, the players you lost, the people you lost, what they meant to this team, the chemistry, all of those factors, it does hurt. It does sting a little bit. That's why you love it and you hate it. Very good way to put it by Josh Hart. He also did mention when Julius Randle and Donte DiVincenzo come back to the Garden, he wants them to be praised. He wants them to be applauded, cheered, and I don't think he has to worry about that. I think the Knicks and many Knicks fans recognize that Julius Randle and Donte DiVincenzo were big parts of this team, especially Julius Randle. Whether you love him or whether you hate him, Josh Hart said it perfectly. He came here when we were losing, struggling, and nobody wanted to play here. In my opinion, the least he deserves is respect. And Julius Randle, for me, will get that respect each and every time I see him. Thank you, Randle, for what you helped build in New York. We're moving on to a new chapter with KAT being one of the stars we have on this team. But we're not going to forget all the contributions from all of the Knicks, not only Randle and Devo, but all the other Knicks we had to trade to get this roster together. And finally, Mikal Bridges said one simple sentence regarding Karl-Anthony Towns and him being on the Knicks. "I like KAT. Played against him for years. I've known him for a while. You know why this makes me excited? You know why that makes me hype? Two Knicks coming on this team know each other. That means they have some bond, some form of chemistry, and then you add that to the fact that Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, and Jalen Brunson also have chemistry. I hope it all comes together very well and very fast, obviously, because I want to see the Knicks get off to a strong start. If we do that, we potentially could be fighting for the #1 seed this season. It all depends on how we start, because I have faith in the Knicks that no matter what gets thrown our way during the regular season, after what I saw last year, the Knicks and that next man up mentality is real. And because of that, I have faith that no matter what happens to us, we will get to where we need to get to. The only thing I'm hoping and praying for is health. I want this entire roster to remain as healthy as possible toward the end of the season, going into the postseason, because the postseason for this Knicks team is going to be the most important time. We cannot go back to the semifinals and lose again. that would be a failure. We need to, at the very least, get to the Eastern Conference Finals. If not, beyond that, a lot of things have to go right for us. We still have some moves to make, and Leon Rose will make those moves. We are in championship contention, championship mode. Everything's on the table, and as long as it means we're making moves to help us win a championship, those moves are going to happen. The Knicks, we're not done yet. And if you thought we were, you're in for a rude awakening and a very strong surprise. The Knicks are likely going to trade Mitchell Robinson. They want to do that trade sooner rather than later, and they want to do it before the season begins. Whether they do it or not is anybody's guess because his value is toward the floor. But if anybody can get another deal done, make another major trade happen to make this team better, best believe it's going to be Leon Rose. But what about you guys? What do you think about the following comments from these Knicks players on Media Day about Karl-Anthony Towns, Julius Randle, and Donte DiVincenzo? Let me know in the comments section below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans. Peace.